It's time to go beyond Plus Ultra for more Boku no Hero Season 7.
And I want you to redo that opening, sir,
Why?
because you forgot it is neutral normal.
Yes. Neutral Norma or minus Artlu. Plus Ultra, neutral normal, minus Artlu.
Or negative. Negative Artlu would work too.
Okay. Yesterday I was debating doing the minus Artlu again.
Well, I mean, they're kind of in it, so who knows?
Oh, there was so much going on in this episode.
I
My
mean, the
god.
first half just kind of recap the plan and how we got here, which I'm not really sure if I like.
Well, it did confirm everything that you suspected.
It does, but I'm trying to understand exactly why, other than just for the shock factor, it wasn't just told in chronological order.
Maybe it's like, oh, Aoyama really is betraying Deku, even though it's
Like,
obvious he
none of
wouldn't.
us. We had the entire conversation with Aizawa before this. There's no way he was betraying. That wasn't the shock. The most shocking part of it was the fact that they got All for One specifically to show up and not just like his henchmen, essentially.
Right.
That's probably the only shocking factor, was that he was the one that came personally.
And just one question. When Aoyama was on the phone for All for One, he turns and looks at Shinzo. So was he brainwashed during the conversation?
I think he was, but it's released immediately after the call ends.
Okay.
That was kind of my impression anyway.
Okay, because the way he turned, he seemed so nervous.
Well, I mean, even going into it that you're brainwashed, you're not gonna. I don't know if he's gonna remember. I don't know if you remember what you did when you were brainwashed. I don't think you do. I'm trying to remember when Shinzo uses his abilities, and I don't think the brainwashing lets them keep their memories of the time they were brainwashed.
Okay. And we had just, I think, a few good times in this episode where Nato was going mad with power.
Well, I mean, we clearly had to have the start off with All Might's ridiculous face again
Yes!
to like recap this. Go through. We do get the reveal and the confirmation of like Nato essentially, Monoma essentially just taking people's quirks. I kind of assumed, I forget if I said it in the last one, but or maybe I like just thought of it afterward. But I was thinking about, what if he took Aizawa's too to use Eraser?
You did not mention that
Okay,
last
then it
time.
was probably afterwards that it occurred to me, and I just didn't bring it up. I wasn't sure how good Eraser's head's ability was now that he only had one eye, but like the thought was still there
And
of like double erasure. You have like two like sides of this you could use now.
yeah, and it seems that it's weaker now that he has one eye.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's saying. Yeah. But my thought was like, if you have two people using it, you have a wider range to catch him in. It wasn't even that like his was weaker now. One of the things I'm not really understanding is what happens later. We'll get to it, but yeah, I'm just trying to like skip through here and see what's going on.
Uh,
If there's anything else that we need to bring up before we get into the latter half of the episode.
I think it's more like the latter 3/4 because the flashback only took like 5 minutes.
Because it felt like it was all the way up until they cut it.
No, I did a time check and it was about 5 minutes, 6 minutes maybe.
All right, yeah, I'm like 8.5 in, and that's where it kind of cuts back to current time. So yeah, the plan is essentially an evolved version of the escape, the auto emergency like escape thing that they have at UA, except this time it's a trap, and a trap that's just long enough to force them through other portals, which I think I also said last week.
I think
That was going to be how they get them out of there, like that they'd somehow get them through portals to different places.
I think I was saying they were going to be separated. Either that or we both were bouncing ideas back and forth that.
Well, they said they were going to be separated. They were lining out that plan in the prior episode, right? It
Right.
was like a 30-kilometer minimum, right? That was it.
I think it was 10. I forgot.
Yeah, 10, 30, same idea. Point is, the idea was to separate them by a decent amount of distance. And I want to say I said something about them using the portals that they're coming through to then teleport them back, like push them through somehow.
It was 30.
Okay. But yeah, they instead use this stuff as like a giant capture trap, which is interesting that they have different sizes for them. I'm surprised they're not uniformly sized.
So when Shiguraki was about to use decay in the beginning, but something held him back, was that his old self?
I don't know. I'm wondering if he was holding back so he didn't eradicate all of the people on his side with it, maybe?
Because later in the episode, he says, like, stop holding me back, me.
It could be. I don't know who's in charge right now. That's the problem, right? I don't know if it's Shiguraki. I don't know if it's All for One. I don't know who's really in control at the moment when he's talking right now.
Because he's like Shiggy for 1 plus Tanko sometimes.
We still don't know if that fusion of personalities is finished yet. In which case, Tenko's the only one that's still there, as far as I'm aware, at least.
When they're fully fused, will Tanko still be there in some capacity?
Based on the visuals, I want to say yes. He's just kind of covered up. He's just suppressed by the other two at this point.
And I think you potentially called it that Dobby would not take orders and lunge out first.
If I did call that, it's literally because Endeavor's there. The minute he sees him, Dobby ain't gonna listen to shit.
No. I think, now, if I'm remembering correctly, you were saying he would jump out before All for One, or Original for One, started the plan, and Dobby would lunge out first.
I don't remember my exact details, but I would agree with that statement.
That he wouldn't have any sort of patience to wait for All for One's plan to actually begin before.
Yeah. Which, in this case, I kind of agree. He did and he didn't, right?
Yeah. He waited just long enough.
He waited to come into through the portal and take that opportunity, but the minute anything else came up that caught his eye, he didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. And it seems that Shoto's ice is getting stronger.
I mean, that was stated in prior episodes, yes.
Yes, because it's a massive, fuck-sickle of ice that just, smashes Dobby.
So I'm more shocked that Dobby didn't just incinerate everyone around him when he got trapped in the cage to try and, break through. I really thought he'd just, torch all of them in there with him, because he would not care.
Was he in with any other minor villain?
Yes. You can see them behind him when he does it.
No, I mean minor villain that we've seen before.
I'd have to double check. I don't think so. At least not that we saw.
Because
Let's see here.
I'm just thinking maybe Dobby has just enough self.
All right, here's the scene.
I think he has just enough self-control to just go hey, the more of us there are, the more chaos we can bring. I want to get the hell out of here, but I'm going to hold back so we can cause more chaos.
So I don't agree with that, because specifically of what he does here, because I've got the scene up right now, and he's slamming his hand into the ground and fire's just lashing out everywhere. And there are two guys behind him that have face masks on. Maybe one guy might have some kind of iron jaw, and the other one's got a metal face mask. And then a bunch of shadowy dudes behind them. Maybe 4 or 5.
So nobody really important.
No one we know, which is why I'm kind of surprised he didn't just incinerate them in his attempt to blow off or melt through these doors. Honestly, he went into the ground and not into the wall, which is even more shocking.
And what did he say? Something like, "These steel cages can only hold me for 3 seconds."
Yeah, well, like, this will only hold us for 3 seconds. I don't know if he said specifically himself,
Which is
but
exactly how long the heroes needed to start their plan.
oh, okay, no, he says these cages won't last 3 seconds.
Ah.
And, like, I don't know if the heroes need exactly 3 seconds so much as they just need a delay of some kind. Either way, Monoma's opening up portals for them to shove the cages into, which I'm a little more surprised that they don't have it set up to be just speedily, like, shot through there. Like, the cages have rockets, but it's still taking them forever to fucking move. And the
Mm,
heroes need to push. So, this is kind of where we get to the part that I'm not clear on how it worked, right? Because as they're getting pushed, what we see is some kind of tether as Deku's going to help push in the other cage that he's been assigned to. Some tether whips out of another Kurogiri portal and pulls him into it. Where the fuck did that portal come from?
I was curious too, and I thought you would be able to give me some sort of answer.
I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. Like, we find out who the tether is from, but I don't understand how it worked.
Did
Like,
y-
how did one portal connect to another?
did you know who it was at first?
No, I wasn't sure because we only saw the tether itself, not what was on either end of it, right?
Right.
Like, once we saw like how it was wrapped around his arm and like the cylinder thing at the end, I realized who it was. Prior to that, we only saw that it was some kind of weird thing wrapped around his arm,
Yeah.
like some white cord
y-
or like cloth.
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I'm just like, who just grabbed Deku?
Like, now that we even without knowing, I'm more curious how, because again, this is a Kurogiri portal. The only people that have that is Kurogiri and Monoma. I can't imagine that Monoma has it. It like allowed this to happen on his end. The only thing I can even potentially hazard a guess at is that, well, I'm gonna spoil it here before I even get to it, but fuck it. Toga is that Toga had Kurogiri's blood.
Oh.
That's the only way I can even fathom this working this way.
Oh my God, dude! I think you called it.
If she does, she's held on to that for a long ass time since like season 3 when they captured him and just
Oh.
never used it. It kind of personally to me, this kind of seems like a little bit of an asshole out of nowhere,
But
if that's the case, because it just feels like why and how at that point she wasn't able to use other people's quirks. Also, by her own definition, it has to be someone she loves, and I highly doubt she loves Kurogiri. Even then, I'm not sure that's how this works.
okay. I forgot the whole love aspect. But wait, doesn't the person she loves make it stronger?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Oh.
Even One for All points out that it's someone that she loves, she can copy their quirk. Otherwise, it's just a disguise.
Okay.
I don't think she loves Kurogiri, unless there's some kind of retroactive bullshit going on that they didn't tell us about. Or they're kind of, not redacting, but like rewriting the thing.
I think
Because if it's not Toga, I don't know how the fuck she got through the portals and made another one.
I'm hoping we will find out in a future episode of how it actually happened.
Hopefully, and this isn't just a way to like plot device pull Deku out of here and the plot device doesn't make sense.
So we do have 8 locations for the final battle, most of which are relevant areas to the story.
Is that including or not including the leftovers that are here
Uh,
after the portals close?
I'm not counting the leftovers.
Okay.
Unless
So then go
unless
ahead.
the vicinity of the makeshift fortress Troy, area number 1, is that spot.
Okay.
Number 2 was UA High, Coffin in the Sky. Number 3 is a tiny bit blurry, and Tacoba National Stadium. Number
Mm-hmm.
4 is the Gunga Village site. Number 5 is really blurry, but when enlarged, I'm thinking it says like Jaku Hospital in front of the something containment facility. Number 6 is Central Hospital. Number 7 is Common Ward All Might Square. And number 8 is Okatu Island.
What the fuck is left of Jaku Hospital?
I don't know.
Because there's nothing left there. It's just a fucking crater from when Shiggy, for one, woke up and just decayed everything around him. There's nothing left of that place.
Yeah, good point.
I highly doubt they would have rebuilt it in the little bit of time there was.
There's the 8 locations for you.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to pop these up and see if I can't decipher anything. Let's do it this way.
Yeah, there was just a lot of text for number 5, so.
Yeah, UA High, Coven in the Sky, Yakuba National Stadium, the Gunga Village site. Yeah, it's too blurry at that size to really tell. Central Hospital, Kamino Ward, Okuta. If that is Jaku, there's nothing left there. I mean, it would be a safe place to do shit. It makes sense as far as keeping people out of the battle, but still.
In front of the something containment facility.
I mean, it might have also been the one that was holding him.
Okay.
Shiggy, I mean.
And Okatu Island, what happened there and why is it significant enough for a final battle to be there?
The only thing I can think of for Okuto Island, and I don't even know if this is the same island or not, but it was where they had some of the provisional license stuff going on when they were like shadowing other heroes. It was the place, I'm assuming at least, it might have been the place where Froppy and Ochako were doing theirs with when they were on the boat and shit.
Maybe from a movie?
Maybe, but slotting that into the main thing seems weird in that case.
Hmm. Okay.
Because if you're reading manga, that doesn't guarantee you'd be watching any of the movies.
Fair point.
Interesting, though, to see that list. Because I didn't really pause to like try and read it myself. So yeah, everyone gets separated. All for One nearly gets sliced in half, except he's got his stupid armor or whatever on, or some kind of strengthening quirk. Because Hawks has his wings back, kind of.
Yes.
Just barely enough to do things with, from the look of it, unless he's got more feathers scattered around. And, we have a little monologue of All for One figuring out what the version of shit is, and then some more explanation of, like, the warping quirks, which... Still not 100% sure how All for One's works exactly, but we do know that it's shorter distances. That's all we got.
Actually, it has no significance to the series, much like the other 7 places, because it made its first appearance in this episode.
So it's got nothing. Okay.
Like the other 6, except for number 1, like where this all started, I'm like, okay, those all have significance. Like, the island must have some significance that I forget. Nope, it's just a random-ass new location.
I mean, it could also be strategically placed, just because you might have water-based heroes dealing with shit there.
Yeah.
So, from that standpoint, maybe. But outside of, like, significance to the people there, who knows? It sounds like nothing.
If we find out that Portal Warp is more powerful than Sludge Warp.
Yeah, the only thing I don't understand is how Sludge Warp works exactly. Considering Sludge can just spawn in people's mouths, apparently.
And he can't teleport himself using it.
Yeah, that's the other drawback. He cannot teleport himself.
And it's a far shorter distance.
Yes. So yeah, the All Might Square is gonna be where Shoto and Dabi fight. I'm curious how much we're gonna be jumping from fight to fight, or if we're gonna focus on one per episode, or if it'll be like a fight every half episode.
I am guessing, and I think I may have said this before, that we will particularly like fit around maybe like 2 fights for a few episodes, and then we'll jump to another fight between like two fights between an episode, and eventually get back to them, because I feel like jumping between all 8 within one episode might get pretty jarring.
Oh, that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's going to be 1 or 2 fights per episode.
Mm.
It's either going to be 1 fight for a single episode, or it's going to be 2 fights every sorry. It'll be half an episode for 1 fight, half an episode for another, and then we'll just rotate.
Oh, okay, so we're not focusing on a fight for like 3 episodes in a row.
I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Okay.
Unless, our manga had thought, or even like the team here had thought, man, when we did the whole Gigantomachia thing and flipping between him and the Shiguraki situation, yeah, I got a little hairy. Maybe we should do something else. I don't think so, because they're going to want to try and like set this up within the same time frame. Because otherwise you're jumping backwards in time each time you start a new fight.
Fair point.
It makes the timeline harder to understand
Okay,
for people that aren't paying a lot of attention.
so we have Shiguraki versus Genus, Bakugo, Bunny Lady, hovering purple hair girl, I forget her name.
I don't know that she has a hero name, but Nejire is her main
Okay,
name.
anybody else that I'm forgetting?
I don't know. I'm trying to flip through and figure that out. Oh, Sun Eater's there.
Okay, cool.
Oh wait, where's fucking Phase Into the Ground Boy? Where's he at? We haven't seen him since he made a reappearance back in was it last season? He hasn't shown up since.
Phase Into the Ground Boy?
The dude that can phase through objects and then has to re-solidify to pop back out.
Oh,
I'm completely blanking on his name. Mirio.
Yes.
Lemon or whatever, something like that, right? Is his hero name?
Uh-huh.
Lemillion. We haven't seen him. Where is he? Because we have his other 2 top 3 classmates with Nejire and Sun Eater here. Where is Mirio? He's been completely MIA this season so far, and even I think last season. Yeah, I think the last time we saw him is when he at one point sucker punched Shiguraki during that fight. We have not seen him since.
So at this point in the episode, it's revealed that Toga pulled in Deku. How? I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Is there anyone else here? No, they also have. Sorry, I'm back on the
Okay.
Shiguraki thing. I'm trying to see here, and it looks like they have the one ninja dude. I think he's the one that does paper shit. He's kind of there in the background because we don't really get a good look at him here at this point anyway, until we kind of flash back. Sorry, I'm flipping through. Yeah, we do learn about this, and then we get into the Shiguraki part of this. Yeah, we learn it was Toga. Don't know how she did it, but she did it.
And besides Ochiko, is there anybody else there?
I'm also more shocked that considering he has one for all, he didn't just yank whoever was trying to pull him back through.
Right.
It wasn't like he was midair, or that he couldn't just use Black Whip to pull himself back.
Oh, and again, Danger Sense did not activate.
Whether or not it activated at that point doesn't matter. It would activate for him to dodge, right?
Right.
That would be the thought. But now he realizes his arm is caught by something else. Why he doesn't just yank it, I don't know.
But he specifically says Danger Sense didn't activate, so...
Yeah, afterward. But also, think about who's pulling it. It's Toga, who says she loves him.
But it's a yandere love, which is dangerous.
But it's pure. Also, it's not dangerous to him specifically. Or to anyone she specifically loves. It's everyone else around them.
Fair point, but I'm guessing danger sense not activating means something.
It could also mean that Toga didn't want to hurt him and just wanted to talk with this action. What happens later, when the knife starts getting pulled out, might be different.
No, but when the door blew up, danger sense didn't activate then either, and Deku did say danger sense didn't activate. I am thinking danger sense, like his lack of danger sense, means something.
Would it mean that, like, something that's not intentional to hurt him? Or does it have to be directed for danger sense to hit?
I'm not entirely sure.
Hold on. Let me double check this, because now I'm curious. Detect any potential threats in the surrounding area, thus giving the user the opportunity to properly react to them quickly. Similar to a sixth sense, the detection is described as a sharp stabbing sensation. Quirk is also able to sense one's intent and their negative emotions. Against human enemies, danger sense is triggered by their intentions of threat or malice, which means that shit make sense. There was no threat or malice involved with either of these, therefore it does not trigger. That would be my understanding of this. Yoga's not trying to hurt him at this point, therefore it's not triggering. The explosion and the door didn't trigger because it was not an intention to hurt him.
Okay, but I'm still going to put that on the bookshelf of this might mean something.
All right. I mean, I'm not denying that there could be something fucky wucky going on, but based on what danger sense is defined by, I'm leaning toward it being those rules. They're not intents to harm.
And doesn't Deku still have, like, one more quirk to unlock?
I think so. I think by the end, there was still one quirk we weren't aware of.
So maybe by the end of this season, he'll unlock it.
Maybe? I don't know. Mid fight, maybe even.
Yeah.
Because what he has float, he has that kinetic thing, he has Black Whip, he
Danger
has
sense.
Danger Sense. So that's 4. We can't count the first one because the first one is the power storing quirk. That leaves 3 others. One is All Might, who doesn't have a quirk, and that leaves 2 more that I'm not thinking of or accounting for at the moment. I don't know if one was quirkless or not. Yeah, well, we'll see. Wasn't there something that basically allowed him to move with float? Can't remember what it is, though. Oh well, I'm not going to look it up because I know that it's going to lead to a spoiler if there is another one. Anyway, yeah, so we find out it's Toga, and then we cut back to the fight with Shiguraki because everyone's like, where the fuck is Deku? He got yanked off. Mirko doesn't seem to care. She's like, fuck it, we're just going to fight this guy. I'm excited.
You love Mirko. Like, she is, like, so energetic.
I like badass girls. What do you want from me? She's battle hungry. She's a battle hungry rabbit.
Mmm.
So yeah, we learn that there is a floor that just launches up in order to keep decay from spreading. Underneath this floating like fortress with an electromagnetic shield around it that apparently causes a bit of his muscles stiffening up and leaving him open for a second to be snatched and shit by good old Denim Boy.
Oh, wait. Sidetrack here. He also has a smokescreen thing.
Who did?
Deku.
That was the other one. So yeah, then there's one more we're unaware of that I can't think of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he only used that smoke screen the one time to escape. Or no, I think he used it once to escape and then once to like to hide the fact that he was going to launch himself at Sniper Girl.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that one. So there's one more yet, I think, that we don't know of.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Cyber Mirko now.
Cyber Mirko, don't get in her way. She's gonna kick you. So yeah, we also learned that apparently this was a modified version of the escape plan.
So the rabbit is more of a rabbot now.
Cyber Bunny. Yeah, it was developed by it was Hajime. That's her name, Hatsube.
Yeah.
Either way, it was an altered version of her plan that she decided to make up, and they're using Creati to keep supplying more supplies into the actual space.
Yeah, because Shiguraki was using decay, he got launched up into the ceiling and electrocuted.
Yep,
To
and they keep replacing the panels that get launched up with Creati creating the materials for it.
and I thought Cementos was also doing something.
Yeah, I think he was giving them the cement for it, like maybe encasing it or something like that. I'm not sure what exactly he's doing with it. Like I'm looking here and he's like putting down a bunch of cement, but I don't know to what it's going to here. I do find it funny that there's some dude in the back that has a whisk for a head that keeps fueling Creati with more food so she can make shit.
Hmm.
I looked at that, I'm like, he doesn't have a head. Does his head a whisk? He's making a bunch of food and then Creati's there. Oh, I know what this is for now. She's
I
just
will
eating her
have
way
to
through
go back and look at that frame because I miss her being fed.
Oh, she's not eating it, but it's all lined up behind her.
Hmm.
I see a bunch of rice cakes, a chocolate cake, what looks like maybe a souffle here.
Huh.
Here, hold on. Let me shoot this over to you quick. There we go.
Huh.
Yeah, right. So,
Interesting.
so yeah, they're like, we figured out how to beat you because we saw your last two fights, and then just explain everything. Blah blah blah. We also find out that Denki, manga dude, and then two others I don't remember off the top of my head. The short-haired girl looks familiar, but I can't place her to save my life.
And
She
what
might have
was
been a Blackcraft
Manga's
character.
quirk?
I believe he replicates whatever manga sound effect he creates.
So is it
So think
and
like echoes
I was
from
just
JoJo.
yeah, I was just about to bring up Echoes.
Yeah, like Act 2, I think would be the specific one we're looking at here.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, I think it's specifically that's what he can do.
It allows him to materialize words in midair.
Let's
These,
see
these
here.
words can manifest the effects of the phenomenon the sound suggests.
There you go. So there's you have it. It is literally echoes Act 2. The only difference is Echoes can slap it on things. I don't know if he can do that on top of this.
And Denki is charging the coffin in the sky.
Yeah, so is manga, so are two other characters. Again, the short-haired girl that's there, I remember her. I just don't remember her like where she's from. Might have
Mm.
been like some background side character at some point. I don't remember the other one at all. I have no idea who that is. But yeah, they're charging it. They're keeping the barrier lit. I'm wondering for how long they can keep it going. Because
Wait,
without
hold on. Let me just see. Is that the person? Oh my god. The person with a whisk for a head. His hero name. Do we find out his actual name? No. That is Cooking Hero Lunch Rush. He is the head chef of the cafeteria at UA.
maybe we got introduced to him in the very first season and I don't remember it. Or maybe it was one of those like in between chapters things in the graphic novels.
It doesn't say what his quirk is, but he is
Besides the fact that he has a whisk for a head.
he is a very good cook, and the children of UA never get tired of his cooking.
This is where his quirk becomes I can make whatever food taste like the thing you want it to taste like. I want to eat this jello. Oh my god, it tastes like a peanut butter sandwich.
He was mentioned in episode 81. Yeah, seems like he did in episode 6.
Yep. Alright, so first season, cool.
Wow, that's a deep cut callback.
You're gonna use whatever you got available in the situation, and he is there, so
Right?
So yeah, we just get to see combo attack after combo attack on Shiguraki. I'm curious how long they can keep this up because Deku was supposed to be their trump card to help just constantly beat him down, and he's not here. On the plus side, they do have not Eraserhead, fucking crazy ass maniac Monoma laughing his head off like a goddamn psychotic villain.
I think Monoma had many borderline psychotic laughs this episode.
This man's not a phantom thief. This man is clearly the Joker. I know he doesn't, but I almost want Mark Hamill to play this kid just because of the insane laughter he does all the time. I don't care if Mark Hamill's old and he has an old voice. The fucking insane laughter would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because
but yeah, we have...
earlier in the episode, he was saying that with his power, he thinks he belongs as a side character, but now that he's finally a main character, or the level of a main character, he's like so happy.
I don't understand where that fucking idea comes from. Like, I get that kids told him that as a child. I fundamentally disagree. His ability is fucking insane. You can steal people's quirks for what, like a 5-minute time frame or something like that?
So does that mean he had to get Kurogiri, take Kurogiri's quirk, teleport, and then instantly use it? Because he said, like, something about, I need to train with this quirk.
Yes, so he's got a time limit on it, so he keeps stealing the quirk and refreshing it, essentially, to keep training with it.
So does he keep jumping back to Kurogiri?
So during the training session prior to the fight, probably.
Mm.
During the fight, probably not, because once they have teleported them, they don't need the teleport ability anymore. The last time he needed it was to get himself, and if Eraserhead wasn't already there with the water dude, he wouldn't need it anymore other than to teleport himself to there.
Wait. They are in the coffin in the sky. How do
They are not. Those three specifically are not. They're sitting on top of the power source on the other side, outside of it.
Oh, outside, okay.
Oh, he's got a chair there. Okay. I'm like, what is he sitting on? Because it looks like there's nothing, but like his physical legs are blocking the legs of the chair, kind of. So I didn't see it until I saw like the ends of it poking out from behind his back. I was very confused. Like, he's just sitting on nothing. But yeah, we basically get Eraserhead, who's I'm assuming using his ability as well in what limited capacity he can, since it's a weakened version, and Monoma just duplicating it constantly by touching him. And we have just a monologue in Eraser's brain going off about how, like, the fact that Midoriya's not here kind of fucks up the plan, essentially. Plus, on top of that, Shiguraki's body is finished, quote unquote. I don't know if... I'm not 100% sure if they launched this attack before the end of the time frame they had, or at the exact end of the time frame they had. I'm not 100% sure when they sprung this.
And, can I just ask you one question that I was half wondering?
Okay.
What the fuck is going on with Shiguraki?
In which way? There's a lot of ways you can phrase this. What specifically are we asking about?
Just like the way that his body's now, like, has, like, the giant tentacle of fingers?
So this I'm not sure about, because I would think that Erasure would cancel it.
So is his body mutating, evolving?
I don't know.
Because this is the same thing we saw last episode, that we were like, what's going on?
Yeah, for a fraction of a second, yeah. I don't know. Like, right before this, they mentioned that Monoma can't move or he's going to lose his line of sight. And that's just for him, like, doing his maniacal laughter, essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a quirk and his line of sight slipped for a second, or if this is something altogether different. I know that Erasure can't get rid of, like, physical body change quirks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't cancel that out. Like, if he was going to look at Tailboy, he's not going to get rid of the tail. It's not going to change anything.
Right.
So I don't know if this is something akin to that, but at the same time, he's kind of like warping his own body. So I have no fucking clue. Like, if Eraser's looking at him, that shouldn't be able to be possible. If it's not a quirk, then I don't know what this is. Is it a reaction to how fucked up the quirk mess inside of him is?
I don't know.
Because, like, even thinking back to, like, when Erasure was being used on the Nomus, they still can do the same things that they could do normally, like, with their physical body, just not the quirks. Either Erasure lost line of sight for a second and that was able to happen, or this is something altogether different than just a quirk, and I
I'm
don't know what the fuck it
I
is.
am going to guess it's something altogether different. I'm guessing, I might be wrong, that his body is somehow mutating or evolving. Whether or not that has something to do with All for One's plan of merging with him or not.
I just want to see something quick. Okay, Erasure allows you to cancel out the quirk of anyone they look at. When Erasure is activated, he's able to disable a person's quirk factor until his eyes close. Only needs one part of his target's body to be seen for it to take effect. And then Erasure can be activated on multiple targets at once. Stays in effect until they look away. As long as the eyes stay open. And it also doesn't count if the user sees is merely a construct controlled by the opponent. Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay.
This kind of is just the same thing that we were talking about before. I just find it weird that it doesn't, that because it triggers a change, that's not something that works. But it mentions mutant type quirks not working, but it can impair their function. As the quirk factor that incorporates all mechanisms necessary for the quirk to work properly are nullified. So I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm going to assume it's some kind of, unless this is something altogether different, it's some kind of mutant quirk that shouldn't work.
Hmm.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
Okay.
I got nothing on this one. I got absolutely jack shit. Unless I try to look up exactly what he is doing right here, which I'm not going to do because I want to keep myself unspoiled in that regard.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is. If Eraser has not, like, blinked, essentially.
I'm going to say his body is evolving or mutating.
I just find it weird that it's fingers, and he's always had this hand obsession, essentially. So I don't know what it is.
So you're saying you would want hands to grow rather than fingers?
No. I'm saying that it is kind of, I'm saying that, remember when he had, like, his old costume on, it was just a
Yeah.
bunch of hands grabbing
Hmm.
onto him in his face, right? This feels like it's somehow an extension of that whole idea.
Okay.
That, and also, if you remember correctly, when we were looking back at Tenko inside, like, the mini fucking brain world or whatever, what little times we've seen him, he's been, like, covered in hands.
Oh.
I don't know what this means. Does it mean that, like, the inner world is forcing its way into the outer world somehow? If that's a quirk, I don't know what that means, that it can go through erasure. If it's not, then I don't know what the fuck it is. Either way, it bashes Mirko and takes out her mechanical limbs from the look of it, and
Yeah.
probably knocks her out fight.
If not kills her.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in more of this fight next time.
The question is whether or not they stick with this fight or jump to Deku.
Yeah, we'll probably jump to Deku.
I'm leaning toward jumping to Deku in the next fight, especially because, based on the preview, that kind of seems like that's the case.
Will we get all Shiguraki fight with like 2 minutes of Deku?
Well, we do get to see a little bit of the Shiguraki fight here, and there's a hell of a lot more fucking finger hand things going on.
So hopefully we'll learn more about it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna stay here, but there's also more Deku fight, so I don't know where we're staying.
So come back with us next time for more Boku no Hero Academia.
Shit's gonna go wrong, yo. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.